do, and the topic is the coexistence, the peaceful coexistence between Christians and Muslims on the continent of Africa. And of course, Dr. Madu, I might add my astonishment of the fact of the existence of as many Christians, and especially Catholics, on the continent of Africa, as well as the existence of the number of Muslims in Africa. And I think that if you put all of these Christians and all of these traditionalists and all of these Muslims together, you've got a really religious fervor on the continent of Africa. So let's look at it from that perspective.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what amazes people. Apart from South America, you know, Africa has more Catholics than any other continent in the entire world. People don't understand that. The last man who was considered, you know, as Pope, you know, comes from Nigeria. In fact, he's an ethnic Igbo, Archbishop Cardinal Francis Arinze, who was considered to succeed Pope John, you know, Paul, when he died. But unfortunately now he's about 85 years old, so he wasn't in contention at this time, you know, for the new papacy. And of course, when you're over 80, as a cardinal, you cannot vote either, you know. So it's very significant to have these many religions in Africa living peacefully together, you know, despite every other thing. Now, why was it that Christianity had a more difficult time coming into Africa than Islam? Okay? Islam had an easier time coming into Africa because they tolerated and accommodated African traditional beliefs. When Islam came in, they didn't bother the people about how many wives they married. They didn't bother them about ancestor worship. They didn't bother them about witchcraft and all. They just left them alone. So Africans were more accepting of Islam, you know, because they left them the way they were, you know. On the other hand, when Christianity came in, they said, okay, oh no, you can marry more than, you know, so many wives. We don't want you worshiping ancestors. We don't want you doing witchcraft. We don't want all that. So there was some resistance from the African traditionalists, you know, who saw Islam as more receptive of their way of life than Christianity. You know, even though, you know, Islam says don't drink, but of course they don't care about that. You know, some of them can drink in their heart and don't care, you know, about that. So it was more receptive. So that was why the movement of Islam into Africa was faster and quicker than Christianity. Now, why is there no conflict or less conflict, you know, between both religions in Africa? You know, as people have said. Like I said, I've heard people say Africa is not tolerant about religion, you know, they don't like people from other religions. Like I said, it's further from the truth. Number one is this, they are